Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sheepdog, take it away. Well, while we're waiting on Sheepdog, I will give a little roundup here. We got Tennessee in the house. We got Florida in the house. We got South Carolina in the house. We got a little Michigan in the house. We got a northern Michigan and regular Michigan. So you guys are killing it on both sides there. So just want to give a little roundup who we got on the show. But go ahead, Sheepdog. You got it.
All right. Yeah. Got to make sure. I usually do an intro so I can check and make sure everything's running before I go into a show. Like that's why I normally do the 3 or 4 minute songs because we're kind of. I think it's the Rumble link is messed up. Gandalph, is that your Rumble or is it up there?
Yep.
Can you see it?
It's
Is that on? Okay, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 minute. Let me get that Rumble link. Sorry about that. When we opened up, I was muted, Mike. But I was saying, just glad to be here. Today is August 21st, 2025. And we have the sun coming back to the equator, towards the equator, right around September. We'll be out of August here shortly. Rolling into September. A lot of things taking place already, right? See some schools are back in recess, right? So what happens around that time? We start having the shootings, right? They have the drills. All the schools have to have mandatory drills within a certain time frame of school starting. So what happens is those drills end up on the news and being reported as school shootings, et cetera, to push an agenda, right? And to put parents into fear, to ask for more surveillance, police state, for more safety, for more protection, right? But it's so keep that in mind. I believe there was a shooting today. I believe reported at a campus, at a college campus. So I think college is probably cranking back up. So expect over the next few weeks to be seeing more of that. So that they'll be doing if they do it the same as they did last year, they'll be doing it this year too. But they should be notifying the parents that they're going to be doing these kind of drills. Maybe some people's kids don't want to be a part of that and the trauma that comes with it. You know, kids should just be able to go to school to learn instead of going through some kind of psychological operation on top of vaccinations. I mean, I remember back in the day in the 70s, they drove to high school with the shotgun on the back of their truck window and nobody got shot.
So this goes all the way back to duck and cover. You know, the duck and cover, which was the first nuclear age threat, which we're still under a nuclear threat, right? Nuclear war. So duck and cover is the genesis of this. It doesn't ever change. It's just the right message for the generation, right?
Yep. It used to be duck, duck, goose. Now it's duck and cover. All right, so seeing today's report just made me think. I was looking at the timing and back to school, stuff like that. So it's expected to see what it was being reported today, wherever it was, some campus. All right. So just be made aware of that. You don't need to go to Target looking for a Kevlar helmet and a flak jacket for your kids, bulletproof vest, radios, stuff like that for back to school. Just try to let them be kids as much as you can, right? Give me 1 second. And then I'm going to go into Gandalph. Can you give me 1 second? I'm trying to get this rumble going. If you could pop in for 1 second.
Well, so I'll channel Mike Penny here for a second. What's happening right now in the greater news cycle is that the enemy uses fear. The enemy uses the law of scarcity. There's not going to be enough. I'll never survive. The enemy uses this program model, this construct. So if you go look at the news cycle, which we attempt to cover here in this format, then it's about, are you afraid of the weather? I've been skulking more, trying to be prepared to fill this exact type of narrative, that Aaron is now the biggest storm ever in the universe, whatever. The weather warfare will continue until we win this thing. There's a lot of fear going on around our political process and whether or not Trump is a dictator. And what's really happening there is we have to unwind our judiciary away from maritime law to common law, and then once again from common law to natural law, so we can return to the indigenous base. And the core of this, between the mainstream media and the unwinding of maritime law, is the definition of injury. So if I live in a community and I have the homeowners association people come and tell me that I did something wrong and they're going to give me a citation, that is an example of statutory enforcement. And statutes are not laws. But when you moved into that community and bought that $500,000 house, and they told you you couldn't paint your house any house color but this, or you couldn't do something with your lawn, that statutory engagement is all about this fear sequence. So whether or not it's going back to school and dealing with your children and the statutory engagement with vaccinations, that's a fear scarcity cycle. The scarcity is my kids can't go to school, and the fear is I'm going to get arrested, and the challenge is that I have to homeschool my kids. And this is the cycle that we have to get into. So if I'm worried about back to school and I'm worried about my kids' vaccines, then how do you change your entire life so you can homeschool your kids? No, I'll keep going. So let's say that you're a small business person and you have a statute that's being pushed upon you because there's a regulation change in your area. So you were going to make 15 more acres available on your farm, but you can't get water because the statutes say the water rights are hidden and you can't get to them. So this is the same cycle. So as we look at what happens next, and we don't know what happens next, I don't have a crystal ball. If anything, I would have a pond of mirrors based on Gandalph, but that's a wizard joke. So as you look at this, the real thing you have to come towards is how to get to the challenge at the end. This team has been through a bunch of challenges in the last 2 weeks, and we've ended up here doing this today. So how do you overcome the duck and cover, which started in the late 40s and early 50s, the first nuclear scare? During my time growing up, it was all biological. I think herpes was the worst thing that could happen to you, but we weren't too worried about nuclear war. So whatever that fear cycle is, take a deep breath, engage with the challenge by coming up with a solution that does not involve fear, scarcity. I don't know. Can I stop railing about this, sheepdog? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Everything should be good on Rumble.
Yeah, it's playing now.
All right. So I didn't really want to open with that. It just came to mind, but I just wanted to, remind the people what's coming via the mainstream media. go. Just going to share a little screen here. So we were talking about, you were talking about natural law, talking about the indigenous. So I want to bring a little bit about the Great Law of Peace. Where are we at? Hold on. Over here. All right. But since we're on the vaccines, let's continue with that conversation. And this, what is this? The pediatrician's new COVID-19 vaccine guidance differs from CDC. Highly recommended vaccines for children 6 months to 2 years. Recommended older children with lung disease or other chronic illness get vaccinated. So they're going after the children. Still. And then right here is the summer surge. And we were talking about the HARP and the chemtrails. Right. Well, the new variants are called Nimbus and Stratus. What is Nimbus? What is this? And what is the Stratus? Those are also known as clouds. So they are spraying the shit in the air. See it? Here's all the symptoms: sore throat, fever, chills, fatigue, cough and shortness of breath, headache, muscle aches, congestion, and runny nose. New loss of sense of smell or taste, nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea. Right, so RFK Jr. on child vaccines. A compliant child must take between 69 and 92 vaccines to stay in school in some states, and not one of them has been safety tested in a pre-licensing placebo-controlled trial, and that is just malpractice. So the people who are in charge of that are now gone. This is from.
In terms of changes to ACIP, this has been a long time coming. More than 2 decades ago, Congress investigated ACIP. The Government Oversight Committee found that, for example, that year, which was 2003, they gave one example that 4 out of the 5 people who had the rotavirus vaccine through the schedule had direct financial interest in that vaccine. One of those individuals voted the rotavirus onto the vaccine and sold his rotavirus vaccine that he had in development for $186 million. He said he won the lottery. That year, Congress said that 97% of the people on ACIP had undisclosed conflicts. People have known about this for years. Probably the worst example of malevolent malpractice has been adding all of these new products to the schedule without doing pre-licensing safety studies. In 1986, there were 11 vaccines on the schedule. Today, a compliant child must take between 69 and 92 vaccines to stay in school in some states. And not one of them has been safety tested in a pre-licensing placebo-controlled trial. And that is just malpractice. So the people who were in charge of that are now gone. And we're going to bring people onto the ACIP panel, not anti-vaxxers. We're bringing people on who are credentialed scientists, who are highly credentialed physicians, who are going to do evidence-based medicine, who are going to be objective, and who are going to follow the science and make critical public health determinations for our children based upon the best science.
But it's ultimately the responsibility of the parent.
Yes.
And still not even dependent on, just because that's Kennedy or the person playing Kennedy, we don't follow blindly anymore into a needle based off of fear, especially when it comes to our children, because some of this stuff is sterilizing your kids. And causing things down the line.
I trust a 300-pound black man on Martin Luther King Boulevard, whose name is probably Mike, more than I trust a physician or a pharmacist.
So true.
Are you talking about Mr. Big?
Bro,
Right,
you
so-
know Mr. Big? Come on.
Here we go. Well, we remember what happened during the unmasked versus the unvaccinated, and the unvaccinated. It was so crazy in 2021. People getting arrested for not wearing a mask outdoors. All right, so there's a reason. So he also talked about the money involved in all this, and it's bigger than we can even imagine. It's major retail, right? The health industry. Because the New York Times just exposed that the corruption of the U.S. healthcare economy, and I don't even think they realized it. So we're going to play this video right here, but I like to read it real quick. They just published an article showing which industries employ the most Americans state by state. And in 1990, the map was filled with manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and public sectors. Fast forward to today, nearly every state's top employer is now in the sickness business. And since 1990, diabetes has doubled from 7 to 14%. Obesity has tripled from 11 to over 40%. Non-alcoholic fatty liver diseases, colorectal cancer in young adults, and myocarditis were once rare. Now they're exploding. And 6 in 10 adults now have one chronic disease, with 4 in 10 living with 2 or more. Big pharma, big food, and a broken medical system created the perfect loop. They feed the people poison, they get them sick, they sell them treatment with side effects, they sell them more treatments to manage those side effects, they hire more workers to manage the chaos and call it economic growth. We're not fixing the health crisis, we're just built our economy around it.
New York Times just exposed the corruption of the U.S. healthcare economy, and I don't even think they realized it. They just published an article showing which industries employ the most Americans state by state. What's wild is this side-by-side comparison. In 1990, the map was filled with manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and public sector jobs. Sure, obesity, diabetes, fatty liver, and cancer existed then, but they were nowhere near today's levels. Fast forward to today, and the entire country is blanketed in one color: healthcare. Hospitals, insurance giants, nursing homes, and outpatient clinics. Nearly every state's top employer is now in the sickness business. And since 1990, diabetes has doubled from 17 to 14%. Obesity has tripled from 11 to over 40%. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, colorectal cancer in young adults, and myocarditis were once rare, now they're exploding more. Big pharma, big food, and a broken medical system created the perfect loop. Feed the people poison, get them sick, sell them the treatment with side effects, sell them more treatments to manage those side effects, hire more workers to manage the chaos, and call it economic growth. I don't know if this article was satire or pharmaceutical brainwash, but if you ask me, it's clear. We're not fixing the health crisis. We've just built our economy around it.
So how do we counter that? What's the solution, right? Your items, as far as the food, the stores, what's in the stores, your health, right?
So Sheepdog, have you ever heard of something called a CPT code?
CPT code? No.
So if I have a 1997 Ford Taurus and I go to the mechanic and I say fix my transmission, they go to the index of hours and say, oh, it's 97 Ford Taurus, it should take 14 man hours to fix your transmission. CPT coding is the baseline for the same thing with humans. So if I go to a medical practice and I walk in the door and I talk to the receptionist, there's a CPT code for that, and the insurance company gets billed. When I have an engagement in the room and I get taken back to the room, there's a CPT code for that, and it gets billed against your insurance. I can do this all the way through. So when the doctor has, and there's tens of thousands of CPT codes, and there's a whole other generation of CPT codes for hospice service that involves a bunch of equipment too. Now, since about 1985, there has been something called a redemption dollar in the medical universe. So just like there's all the different forms of fiat currency, there is a fiat economy around healthcare, and it is driven by something called medical coding. I spent 20 years of my life working with medical coding and infrastructure surrounding it with physicians and firewalls and HIPAA compliance and all that stuff. So this entire cauldron of financial engagement around the suffering of people has an entire system around it. And there's something called a medical dollar. So if I'm a doctor and I have $1 million worth of billing, which is about what it takes every month to keep your practice really thriving, with 8 or 10 support people and 3 or 4 doctors, maybe 12 support to 4 doctors is about right. Then when I submit that, the government doesn't pay me back because it's Medicare, Medicaid, and primary insurance. I get back about 15% less or 20% less. So in the 80s, they started qualifying this as a payback metric. So this is just another form of false currency that is based on our energy, which is the true currency of the realm. So all of Western medicine has been programmed against us. The Western medical complex has been weaponized against us. And vaccines are a leading weapon, in my opinion. This is not medical advice, it's just life advice. But if you go to the doctor, you have a better chance of dying than if you stay home, eat well, exercise, and sleep. Rail over. Thank you for listening to me.
Right, and then you can also think about the products that you put in your hair, your body, such as your deodorant,
Even nail polish.
even the nail polish, the food you eat, et cetera, et cetera.
Makeup.
So what you could do is find alternative. There are people that make products, alternative products that are without all the ingredients, natural ingredients, but they just don't have maybe the backing or the whatever. Maybe they're just selling local or on Etsy or whatever. But you need more and more people creating things or going back to the basics, right? And same thing with the plants, the herbs, et cetera, with the tinctures, right? That kind of medicine with 0 side effects, right? Because you got billions and, well, I'd say trillions of dollar industry here that we're up against. And like we're showing right here, it's entrenched in everything. So we talked about the food, we talked about vaccines, but also the things that we
boiling coffee out of a plastic bag.
What? This is exactly how millions of Americans start their day when they're drinking out of paper cups.
When you pour boiling hot liquid into these plastic-lined cups, it releases thousands of microplastics that end up in your bloodstream.
These can latch into your organs. Some studies even show it can end up in your brain.
Microplastic can wreck your hormones, interfere with your fertility, and who knows what else.
It might be normalized.
But this is not normal.
It's time to bring your own reusable cup.
Or actually ask Starbucks for a mug, they have it.
get a glass cup. Again, I'll be getting any coffee cups in the shop. You don't have the shop yet. So here is, where's the Gandalf cup? Here's the food. Fake food, right? So this is how you can test whether or not the products that you have is real or not, and what's fake. I don't think there's any audio.
No idea.
So right here is rice mixed with plastics. Rice mixed with plastic bits to increase manufacturing profits. The baby food It should have metal.
Oh my gosh.
Little fillers they put in there. We've called grounded up rocks. Advertised as fortified calcium. There's the vitamins. You can bake them. Synthetic supplements burn. Natural supplements won't. This is not fat. It's actually glue to bind unused meat species. Ice cream, put lemon on it. Ice cream that bubbles contains washing powder for shine and lightness. Good if it doesn't bubble with the lemon. Seaweed in water should turn blue. If there's rice water in the milk, seaweed will turn it blue. Pure milk won't change color. Cotton ball. It's painted. They paint them old
Yeah.
to make it look fresh. Coffee. Right? Let's look at that again. Everybody drinks coffee. Oh, they're well. That coffee with additives floats. I guess you stick your grounds in there. Pure coffee sinks. That's how you tell if you've got a good product. There you go. Salt. There you go. Fake salt contains chalk, making the water cloudy. Pure salt dissolves in water. Green peas, boil. Old split peas are coated in green dye to disguise them. Spices. Put it in a candle, burn it. There you go. Yeah. Pure spices burn and ignite. Impure spices don't. Honey tea candle. Honey diluted with water will extinguish the flame. Bad. There you go. There's a tea bag. Cold water, pure tea doesn't stain. Impure tea stains instantly. Melted sugar. If butter contains oil, the sugar will turn pink.
Warm water.
Warm water removes wax from fresh produce. Know the food you eat. Everybody's going to be testing their coffee today.
They'll be testing all that. I'm sure.
So 100 years ago, we didn't have to call food organic. It was just called food. But now we're charged double to avoid chemicals that shouldn't even be legal in the first place. So why is poison the default in grocery stores and actual health is tucked away in some small overpriced corner? It's time this ends. Real food shouldn't be a luxury. It should be food. Man. Got them spraying the crops. That's why they have to
if you add rum or vodka to your coffee, it should help, right? I'm just looking for a rationalization. Or maybe, what's that shit you like, Bird? Rum chata? Is that what it is? If you add something alcoholic, that should have a positive effect, right?
Yep.
Yep. So they treat us like sheep and cattle, and it shows. The same foods in America have 10 plus more ingredients than those in Europe, and most of the ingredients are just byproducts of oil production. It's time this ends. Real food shouldn't be a luxury. It should be just food. Look, they even have an app to scan it to see if they have some kind of. If you got
Insekten in hunderten Lebensmitteln.
If you got to scan your food, something's wrong.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. But unfortunately it is.
Yeah, it's time to start making the food in your own yogurt.
It tastes better anyway. You make a homemade mayonnaise or homemade yogurt, homemade butter.
So here's Mr. Fauci and Mr. Obama. It's safe. Remember,
Thanks to the work of the Biden
they were going after the children here with this.
administration, Dr. Fauci, we already have millions of kids around the country who have gotten vaccinated, which means that if you're still thinking about it, get informed, talk to.
Guys, if you're taking advice from two guys with a mask on in a school, this is a piece of professionals. This is like wearing a chain link fence over your face.
Somebody you trust, your family doctor, your pediatrician, a school nurse, get more information about it. They'll tell you it's safe, it's effective. This vaccine is tailored for kids, and then come on down and find a spot to get vaccinated. You can get it for free just by going to vaccine.gov. It'll tell you exactly where you can go to get vaccinated. And
they got money to vaccinate the whole planet, but they don't have money to feed the poor.
Make sure to do it, as you said, for your kids, your entire family, as well as for the community at large.
There's that we can do this propaganda. So bringing that just to let you know that they're still coming after your kids, still coming after our kids today and for future generations until something changes. And I think it has to be with the parents ultimately, and stop blindly just offering your kids up at the altar of public education.
So you have freedom of choice, right? That's why knowledge is important, so you make the right choices for you and your family.
So that's the food. I'm just tired of my grandma. She's sick and tired of eating this shit. She's losing weight because she don't want to eat anything, because she's waking up and she's researching the food, and it's not good for grandma. Grandma's losing weight and grandpa's pissed off too. It's because he had to go start a garden again.
That's right.
All right, so drink your coffee out of a damn glass cup. Check. Now this is remember Sabrina Wallace? We were talking about her. She was talking about humans are hackable.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Humans are now hackable animals.
Did he say animals?
Yeah. They refers to animals as animals.
Hold on.
Humans are now hackable animals.
Yeah, when you're in your
the whole idea that humans have they have this soul or spirit, and they have free will, and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will. That's over. Free will. That's over. That's over. Today we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, when everything is being digitalized, everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Vaccine won't help us go
The
to
vaccine
the
will help us, of course. It will make things, more manageable.
Surveillance. People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it.
Natural selection is replaced by intelligent design. The era of inorganic life is now beginning.
In the coming decades, AI and biotechnology will give us godlike abilities to re-engineer life and even to create completely new life forms. We are about to enter a new era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. Our intelligent design.
All right. So we want to go over a little bit of where we're at.
I don't care how normal this feels. If this is adulthood, y'all can keep it. It's wild how we've normalized this shit. Like working all week, barely surviving, and then acting like a 2-day weekend is enough to fix everything. Like, bro, I don't need a day off. I need a whole life reset. I'm not tired because I didn't sleep. I'm tired because every part of this feels rigged from every corner. Rent's higher, gas is higher, groceries are insane. But no, apparently, we're just not working hard enough. We were taught to smile through it and just be grateful you have a job. Meanwhile, half of this country is one emergency away from losing everything and don't even think about slowing down because the second you pause, you feel guilty. Like you should be doing more, spending more, posting more, being more. And when you finally speak up, people hit you with the same tired shit. Like, just work harder. Just stop being negative. Try a side hustle. For what? Just so we can be tired in more creative ways? Nobody wants to say it, but the truth is, this isn't living. This is just making it to the next bill. And maybe you got used to it. Maybe you've convinced yourself that this is just how life works. But deep down, this isn't what we were made for. We were meant to build, connect, create, explore, not grind ourselves into the dirt so someone else can sit back and profit off of the scraps. I don't know what this is, but it damn sure isn't living.
Build, create, explore.
Can I chime in here, Chief?
Yeah, you can tap in.
So I want to talk about a constructive response to what that guy just said. I spent about, 20 years of my life working with homeless veterans on the streets of Orlando and across Central Florida. And the most common thing that I came up against was breaking the chain of action in their lives in such a way that they would even consider living inside a house. I mean, these were pretty hardcore homeless guys. They'd been trained by the government how to live, and they were using their training to not ever have to deal with a landlord or a bill or anything that looked like regular society. So what this guy just said to us was, I feel like I'm stuck on the treadmill, and this can't be the way that we're supposed to live. And he's exactly right. He's spot on target. But this does not happen in a day. So the way you get out of the matrix, because this is the active portion of the matrix, you're a debt slave, paying for your own prison, and barely making it every month. And if you miss your number, you go to debt slave prison, which is called the county, for one reason or another, or they take your house for taxes or whatever. So you got to keep the treadmill running. So the way you escape this matrix is by returning to the natural law in your life. And natural law has a different injury index. So you can do that by taking a walk. If you have a pet, spend more time with your animal. There's also some great healthy animal things in the Chiron, by the way. Just make a change, right? But you have to schedule this. You have to do it every single day, and you have to. It could take as few as 15 minutes. I know that Bird has an electric bicycle, and she will escape on that thing in two drops and a cluck, and she is out the door, chicken speed. I mean, and that's her way to go escape. So you just find a crack in the armor of your daily treadmill and take advantage of it. Because this guy's spot on. We're stuck on a treadmill, but at some point, if you just step off for even 15 minutes a day, you will see a change in your life. You'll be more positive. You'll sleep better. All these things will come to you, but you have to make a conscious decision, an intentional move. Intention is everything. With your very powerful mouth and your very powerful actions, and step away from the matrix. So identification is the first key. We've just gone through that. Great video. But make an intentional move towards something that's positive. That's the real change. You have to do this. No one can do it for you.
That's true. Thank you, Gandalf. Here's a little video called Leaving the Gold Standard, but I want to get after that. We'll just play my last one.
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary.
You ever had a conversation like that on the porch with your grandpa, Gandalf?
Their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed,
it was my great-grandmother. Will you pause that? It was my great-grandmother, and who was part of the land rush. She was old. She died over 100, 20 years ago. And she used to talk about carrying a silver coin because a silver coin gave you sovereign status and no lawman could touch you if you had a silver coin. This is in the hills of Arkansas, in the Ozarks, in the 1800s, when the land rush was happening. She was part of that generation set. She was like 2 when they took the property. So this entire rail, I've heard this most of my life. You know, I've been awake for 40 years, and it's been a long time. This Nixon statement of him selling us out to Ross Perot when he brought a bill for the Vietnam War, you are spot on. Great work, Sheep.
and game over. I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold. Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsourced parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not saving. Bought houses they couldn't afford. Played video games. Gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured. Divorce rates doubled. Birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito?
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity. People eating.
You financing a burrito.
Eat slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier. A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight. When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to. Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground, and don't give up on sound money.
If I finance my burrito, can I pay the interest with a fart? I'm asking for a finance guy. I think that's a valid question. Can I FedEx them the shit and say, here's my payment? The financing a burrito should have a specific outcome. So Nixon gave us 2 presents before he left office, and he left office by his own volition. He wasn't impeached. So he leaves office, and by the way, when he left office, he went directly to go spend the next 3 years with Donald Trump. That's another rabbit hole. But Nixon did 2 things. He bought a back-end voting system for the whole nation and implemented it quietly in the 70s by executive order, and that was Perot voting systems. This has been scrubbed from the internet. Very hard to find citation. Perot voting systems was sold to Michael Dell in 1997, and Ross Perot was also the guy who was the hanging Chad spoiler during the first Bush election. So there's a lot of rope pieces in this strand, but I Papa Patriot says back up here. Can I find it? Nixon was a good guy who got abrogated. I can't find it to put it up, but Papa Patriot's exactly on point. That Nixon was an attempt to help change the system, and he was leveraged by Epstein style, or it was Hugh Hefner at the time, and they said he was a drug addict by the time he got out of office, and he had dementia. Does that sound familiar? So we just went through that with the Biden clone, but that's great research, very timely, Sheep. Well done.
No, somebody else made the video. I just found it, but I figured it would be good. I just like to find things like that because we talk about it so much, but when it can be animated or brought to life in a different manner, it seems to sink home exactly what we're up against here, dealing with the fiat, going into the digital age, right? So, and what the fight is really all about is for generational wealth, not just for us, but now, but for future generations to come. And
well, don't you think this all ties into the control model? Because you gave a video prior to that one that addressed the transhumanism effect. And look, words are important, right? The trans LGBTQ movement normalizes the phrase trans, and then we're expected to become transhuman. I mean, I know people that talk to Alexa rather than their spouse. That's a real thing. How is that true? So we do not have an Alexa in our house. They would have been unplugged long ago. But still, I can talk about Mule Feed, and my social feed will be filled with Mule Feed sales pitches. So we live in a surveillance state, and that is driven by the hope, like Noah Harari said in your clip. It's driven by the hope that frequency engagement 5G will be used to control us, the masses. So I think you're in the right vein here. That detoxification from the media, the medicine, and the polluted food and the polluted water. I think I put up a Facebook retweet today, or repost, whatever you want to call it. And I'm still banned on X, so I can't retweet. But it was about cheat codes for food, right? That we have to get away from all of the toxins. You have to detox and you have to build. Those are the 2 things that happen in conjunction. And people that engage with our content are doing that from a social engineering standpoint. But you have to cover the other 3 or 4 facets of your life. I agree, generation. We are controlled, but you could make a conscious decision to not be controlled by your intention. Mike and I used to talk about this all the time. You know, the most powerful weapon you have is your voice. That's that our fight is not against flesh and blood. I can go all Ephesians on you. Talk about some Romans and some Corinthians about how your very powerful mouth runs your race. So I'll rail about this unendingly. The detoxification schedule, yes, it's the detoxification schedule is what drives your ability to engage with a truth, right? What's our new handle, Sheep? Are we the Truth 88? What's it called? Truth Tellers? What's the new handle? I hashtagged earlier today. What is it?
Truth.
Yeah, Truth Seekers. That's what it was. So, 88, I think, at the end.
Truth Train.
Anyway, please continue. And thank you for allowing me to interject and not kicking me from the show, because that's what Mike used to do.
Yeah, can you hear me?
That was supposed to be a joke, but nobody laughed, so I guess that was the truth.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
5 by 5.
Hello? Oh, okay.
We got your Sheep. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, the True Train Tribe. That's what we're talking about. Is to carry the torch for all the tribal members who are gathered here in this room. We have a responsibility to keep the peace with each other, and each person performs their sacred duty and shares their gifts with all. From this day forward, we will remain peaceful and loving towards each other. And if any issues arise, we shall all go to our leaders with the issue. We will then gather together in an open discussion chat to discuss the issue, and we will all together come up with a solution, right? The True Tribe is on an unstoppable mission. We will be tested and attacked, but we are to drown out the noise and push forward, and we will stay true to each other and our mission. Truth Train Tribe Legacy of Chief Penny. I see you. Love and light. Timestamp 7/54/8/21/2025. Happy birthday, Glenda.
Yeah. And is it your birthday, Gandalph? Someone said happy birthday, Gandalph.
Okay, so
that's a public announcement.
I'm gonna go back in the time bank with this reference, but the Gandalph Facebook account was set up by Tammy. Tammy had two personas. If you look at the background, it's Brandy Foot. She passed. I'm not even going to go in that memory hole, but she set my birthday as hers. So, and she and I had very close birthdays. My birthday was on the 1st, so thank you everyone for birthday wishes. I very much appreciate them. I actually got a gift in the mail from one of my sisters, which is the equivalent of hell freezing over. So that was fantastic. But yes, thank you for the born day tidings, and I feel stronger this year than I felt last year. So I'm very much prepared for what's happening next. I will not succumb to the same poisons that Mike did, and I will continue those torch. Thank you very much for the birthday tidings. It's not my birthday, but I will take it.
Medea's birthday.
Glenda, the Empress of Music. It's her birthday. So happy birthday, Glenda. We love you and appreciate you, and we love your music.
You gotta make a birthday song for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So still on track.
Truth Train.
Still on track. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Still on track. Wheels don't crack, truth in the bones. We ain't looking back. Fire in the heart, tribe on the map. We ride with love, but we don't hold back. Came from the corners, scattered and wide. Strangers at first, now we walk side by side. Bloodline claim, but the spirit runs deep. Adopted and honor, our promise we keep. Tracks got twisted, some folks fed. Truth got shed. We heal with rhythm, we rose prepared. Now we plant seeds, teach natural law. True train, 88 strong, no fatal flaw. Ceremonies ride, lyrics play. We ride for peace, but we don't suppress. We ride for freedom, not just escape. We ride for healing, not just survival. We ride for truth, not just talk. We ride for love, the kind that walks. We ride for kindness, peace, and life. We ride for learning what feels right. We ride for sharing, caring grace. We ride for every sacred space. We rise with rhythm, we rise with grace. True train thunder. We build, we bliss, we energize. We learn the old ways, walk the new. We speak with love, but we ride with truth. From scattered sparks to a blazing flame. We're here with strong, true train 88. Remember the name, still on track. Wheels don't crack, true train 88. We got each other's back, fire in the heart. Drive on the map, we ride with love, but we don't hold back. Still on true sacred ground, peace in our steps. Light in our lane, true train 88. Remember the name.
So this is our anthem of unity, healing, and unstoppable love. From scattered parts to a blazing flame. True Train 88 Ride Strong. Still on Track is more than a song, it's a movement. Still on Track was created by the birthday girl, Lydia Turner, Empress of Music for True Train 88, and music created by Glenda and Suno, S-U-N-O. Let's see. So we're talking about the trial. This is the moon. This is what I was talking about the other day, where it's talking about how the world is a stage. Everything is scripted in advance, maybe even sometimes years in advance. And I found the old video, and I wanted to show people again. Maybe you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, Gandalph, but it's a really short clip. Let me 15 minutes. This other one, I have the original airing of the episode. It's an hour long, but it's called The Newsbenders. Right? And the newsbenders bends the news. And especially on today's technology, such as green screens, right? So that's just so what was that you seen on Fox? I mean CNN and ABC, NBC, CNBC, MSNBC. So we got news vendors, and then we go to this British TV program from 1968. It revealed our stage scripted reality. And this is also talks about back then in 68, the implants. during surgery. They implanted certain people during surgery. They thought they were going in to get their gallbladder checked out, and they were putting stuff under people's skin. So in 1968, the BBC broadcast that the live theater play, The Newsbenders, which involved a clandestine news agency looking to recruit a hotshot film director to plan the news for the year of 1973. So people need to be made aware of that. When they say you're watching a movie and it's scripted, this is what they're trying to tell you.
Telling you. It's already been planned. It's planned out. Scripted,
you need to unplug from the matrix. It's fake. It's controlling the... it's interfering with your destiny or what you're called to do, your purpose. It's keeping you mentally enslaved with a bunch of shit that doesn't even exist. When you turn the TV off and go down the road,
it means nothing.
In the community, I would just going to the grocery store, eating at the Cracker Barrel in North Carolina. I looked around the restaurant and I couldn't figure out. I didn't see no division. Everybody was fine. Everywhere I went, no matter where I go, it's like that. But via the media, we're told that we're all divided, right? But let me continue. There we go. Look at this. So, right, to the casual viewer, this program was simply a curious dystopian story that provided food for thought. However, to the discerning truth seeker, it was a classic example revelation of the method or truth in plain sight. From fake news stories to social engineering to bio-tracking, this fascinating program perhaps revealed more than it intended. Here's a breakdown of some of the truths it revealed. So transhumanism, that's what Gandalph was talking about a while ago, right? Transhumanism, bio-tracking, this is such as the pharmacia from 2020 to 2021 and voice monitoring electronic devices. So they were talking about trannies or transgenders or trans, but they were talking about it in sports, women's sports. But when you look at the numbers, there's 600,000 college athletes. There's less than 10 transgender people playing sports. So that didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, why is there less than 10? They make it seem like there's thousands, but it's very minute. So that's like, okay, so that can't be it, right? That was just a distraction from transhumanism.
So this crosses every single phylum and species of our realm. So you're right on target here. A small percentage of the population is having a profound effect on the rest of the population. So this can be identified as businesses being forced to put in trans bathrooms in their business. If I'm a small business and I have to add a bathroom, I have to go to the county and pay more taxes. I have to get permits to put a bathroom in. I have to spend $20,000 post-profit dollars to upgrade my bathrooms. I can keep going. I have to do this in schools. I now have to talk about bathrooms for people that might be a furry. I have to put in a space for a kid to put in a litter box because he identifies as a cat. This is actually happening in our nation. So this trans, words are important, this trans migration is about, on the far right-hand side, kids cutting off their genitals and becoming others, which makes them $1 million baby, literally $1 million in medical CPT coding for them to make. Or it's a business who has to be trans so that they can, be whatever labeled so that they can be a good business. All of the government is involved with that. You have to build, you have to invest. I agree with your point, Sheep. Every single part of the compass of our social engagement has got trans in it somewhere, right? It's like putting ship in our corporate side. I think you're onto something here.
Yeah, all you got to do is add an I to trans, and you get trains. But anyways, back in my grandpa's days, a tranny was something you put under a car.
Transmission.
So the point of this is to tell you that when the next thing happens, folks, it's not just, it's planned. You need to realize that, okay, and take control of your sovereignty of your own body. Keep control of your mind. Take back control. Quit falling for the plan, because the plan, they plan out 2030. This Agenda 2030 is barely 2025, and they've been working on it for the last decades. Like they long ball it. We're doing every 4 years midterm elections and that distracted bullshit. Here we go. Scripted.
I'm sorry, the language must seem rather strange at first, but we take it very seriously. Just to show you how seriously, I'm going to tell you how we checked up on you. We call these things surgical transmitters. One was fitted inside you when you went into the Charing Cross Hospital 3 years ago. Appendix, wasn't it?
Transmitter? Are you trying to tell me that you listen to every word I say?
A machine does. Untouched by human hand. There's a little gadget in these things that ties up with the pulse rate. Puts a bleep onto anything that you're excited about saying.
Pre-planned, scripted news.
There's a vacancy in our newsreel department. We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973.
Come again?
Plan the news for 1973.
Green screen, outer space, and soundstage sets. Like I just showed.
We've only roughed out the news for 1973.
Nixon, moon landing.
Today, April 14th, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown, firing their Rector rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
So-called weapons of mass destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, folks, this is what CNN, Fox, and all them, the lies that they told that got us into wars that killed all of our children, our relatives, our loved ones, right, to go fight something that was a lie via the media. So here's how they do it.
I can't show you any film on this next model. We haven't photographed it yet. But this is the way it will sound.
June the 22nd, 1973. The State Department releases film of the ultimate weapon, codenamed Icarus. This satellite is equipped with a solid reactor. In layman's terms, it can freeze air solid, stopping all missiles, killing all forms of life.
Fake news and how all the world is a stage.
So there's a Bond movie. There's a Bond movie called Moonraker that came out in, was it September of, it was part of the Christmas release in, I think, 73. I remember seeing it in the theater. So Moonraker, this is the plot line of Moonraker, that the moon can be weaponized. No, good pull sheet.
So this is from 68, pre-planned in advance, 73. Yeah, that would line up. So yeah.
The new phase in global warfare. War by example.
The new phase in global what?
Warfare.
Okay.
At 4:32 our time, China took out the remote Indian border village of GANDALPH unprotected by the Icarus network. After the first 2 drive megaton H-bombs have fallen, the 9-way hotline finally switch it off. But this is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen? No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models. Fake newsreels. Fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries. And they accept it for the truth.
And they accept it. You heard that?
And you can do it.
Accept it for the truth.
Did you hear that? And they accept it for the truth. And he was shocked by that revelation. That's almost like that one girl that went to Silicon Valley, and then when she left there, she called her mom frantic, and she said, "Mom, everything's a simulation."
Yeah, she said it's a matrix. It really is a matrix. Right?
Okay, so let's take this one step further. This is 68, right? So we're in the late 60s, early 70s. Sheepdog, do you know off the top of your head how much money we've spent on NASA since the early 70s and the initial space race?
Probably
yes,
trillions of dollars.
Yeah, you're in the right range. Okay, it's like $254 million a day since since we started the space race, which is in the mid 60s. So if this is true, let's just take the narrative, because everything can be two things, and the ability to entertain a thought is called imagination. So let's just imagine that this is correct. What has NASA done with $254 million a day since 1968?
Cocaine and strippers.
I lived in Central Florida. I can tell you that part's true. So, and I used to actually sell NASA and Patrick, which is right around the corner, happened. But no, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud on air? Allegedly, I know that happened. So, NASA is a tunneling operation, and they build underground cities. And Catherine Fitz came out and added this on, who was it? Joe Rogan? I can't remember. Catherine Austin Fitz. Look, nothing is what it seems. I think that's sort of what the whole cheat code here show is about. That you've got to. I lived across the street for 3 days a week. I know Central Florida very well. So I'm known as Pastor Flip Flop in Orlando by a bunch of homeless people. So, look, my point here is that this is telling, but you have to open your mind up to the possibility that maybe movies are intel.
Yeah.
That's sort of tough for some people, Sheep. At what point did you reach the tipping point where you thought maybe movies might be comms? Because I know you're there.
When I realized I couldn't when I realized, well, it took me 4 hours to watch a 2-hour movie. That's when I realized it was comms, because you got to pause it, rewind it, all that stuff. But I realized I woke up to a lot of things about 10 years ago, 2013, 14, maybe 15, somewhere around there. Anyways, so you're telling me that everything is being faked in the studio, but yet they got trillions of dollars in return for a video that can be created today with AI?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And they just aired it on the news, and then everybody believes it.
What I just heard you say is NASA is the original Mr. Beast. That's what I just heard you say.
It's the serpent.
In the 60s, they started content program management, and NASA put up the best video ever. I love that. Now, you're exactly right. I agree with you.
Hey, but it was a clear phone call. But today people are struggling with internet connections. But we're struggling with internet connections in 2025. right? Here we go. So
Accept it for the truth.
they accept it for the truth. That's the most important thing, is acceptance. When you accept the lie, and then when somebody comes along to tell you the truth, you believe the lie over the truth, right? Because you accepted the lie as the truth. So that's where we're at today with humanity as a whole. And that's why they call it the Great Awakening.
And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it. Yeah, you're getting there. I knew you would.
International security scare tactics and simulated outer space.
Tell me, what is the news item that's bothered you the most in the past year, 1967?
Well, it has to be the new American intercontinental ballistic missile, the Boy Wonder, doesn't it?
Just the one I asked him to set up with. The new ICBM, codename Boy Wonder, with a much talked about Mercury warhead. I haven't any special effects up here, but perhaps with the proper sound. And Robert Larkin, television director, high IQ, 35 years old, is scared. Scared by nothing. It doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility. The same goes for the much talked about Mercury warhead. First base.
Well, if this rocket doesn't work, then the others?
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day. Well, you didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
When the worldwide disinformation campaign gained traction, and how so-called warring nations are actually working together. That's what I told you.
When did it all?
They were united during COVID. Nobody was at war because they all shut down in sync. And then fast forward to 2025, and you're telling me everybody's at war with each other. It's just a scripted bullshit.
Start. 1945. You may remember the Americans let off their 2 atomic bombs. Well, they didn't want other people doing the same thing. I mean, you do see that then. Oh, I don't know. Scare the people out. The Americans put it up, and the atomic bomb was halfway along the line to something much bigger, the hydrogen bomb. It didn't work. They spent 5 years in negative research.
What about the Russians? They're supposed to have quite a pile of these things.
We were surprised when they started their tests. Then we got a few feelers from their secret service. Nowadays, we work very closely together. Oh, all these stories about spies going off to Russia. Mr. Philby, remember? Just good copy for the Sunday papers.
Good copy. Well, the Chinese. I mean, they've just announced their bomb.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're only hoping the Chinese will come along, complete the pattern, you know.
In Vietnam, hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. And you can't kill people of bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles. They like to put lines on maps. And we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers. I've only shown you the hard news. There are other things, much softer things we thought might interest you. Well, 1973, we thought it might be time for an anti-teenage movement. A long-awaited return to maturity. Sherry. Perhaps even a religious revival. They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug. One we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that?
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements were getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen.
Political puppets and world dominance.
But how can you be sure that Johnson and Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Pathetic, man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think that presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
It wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers and Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
But there must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
Public ignorance and controlling, distracting, and sedating the masses. Sedating. Sorry.
99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. That, you must admit there has to be some kind of control in this world of ours. Look at that. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies and the empty bellies. Some of the empty bellies carry rifles. Well, we full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised 2 ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money. Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies and put a hopeful smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right too. To stay alive, we have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways, not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality.
Artificial intelligence and super quantum computers.
Most people realize that the world is controlled from about 6 big cities. But it must be rather shocking to learn that 1/6 of the world is controlled from this building.
You mean you?
Oh, no. I only rate an office on the 7th floor. There are 2 other offices above this one. And a giant computer system. Link number 4 in world control.
A computer?
What's so remarkable about that? It's just a machine that can store a vast amount of information.
A machine that knows too bloody much.
Now you're being hysterical about it. The computer's very simple. You feed data into it. Anything from the Wall Street closing prices to the North Atlantic weather.
And you get decisions. That machine's taken you over.
It's just a machine. Extra hands for the people who know how to control it. There's a button we can press. I'm sorry about the dramatics. Our boys call these things the oral contraceptive. Keeps them from talking too much.
So there must be one of those transmitters inside you. Who presses the button? Extra hands. All this stuff about the computer being extra hands for the men who know how to control it. That machine controls you.
What do we know about you? Larkin. Robert Sandford.
Yes, it's family, man. But family.
And above them, CWNS.
Right at the top. Classified World News Service.
So just wanted to bring that. So you quit taking everything you see on TV so seriously.
Right.
When you go outside, it's a beautiful day.
Oh, I'm
Right. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right.
Oh, I have a donation.
My pit bull was barking. He's about the size of a chihuahua.
Say that.
Go ahead. Let me see. Go ahead.
$75 donation from KBB68. Thank you so much.
And that's it. For that. They said there was no active shooter here in Chattanooga. Okay.
And that
We were talking about this earlier.
That hurricane turned around too, right?
Okay. So what was the whole thing about then? Why was all the attention that there was no active shooter?
Distraction.
Exactly.
Fear.
So that's hopefully that's not a sign of what's to come with the children's school year this year. But if it is, just keep in mind it's just on TV.
Right.
Unless they show you some dead bodies laying on the ground, which they don't mind doing any other time. But when it comes to these shootings, you don't see nothing. They don't show you nothing.
So can I talk about this for 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor was a false flag. 9/11 was a false flag. The Lusitania, going back in war history, was a false flag. That doesn't mean that people are not being hurt. It just means that it's an engineered event. So when we see something like this active shooter story, the real question is, what are they trying to draw your attention away from? I think that's a positive intention through this process, because we all have to deal with the trauma of this crap. And that's just what it is. It's a false flag.
Yeah. So that's the overall message, is that just question everything, don't accept and don't fear anything, and don't allow the mainstream media to tell you what to do, because they are talking about another COVID type situation, right? Coronavirus thing, another pandemic.
They've been saying that.
It makes big money. I don't know why they need any more money. I think it's more about depopulation. But some people are saying let's pray for everyone to regain back control over their minds, and that they don't fall victim to the deception. That's all. I guess that's
so the religion
message.
of the bad guy is control. The religion of the bad guys is the control. And when the Khazarians took over the mainstream media of the time in the mid 500s, about 542 to 560, which happened with the Council of Nicaea, The Romanovs were in the process of pushing the Khazarians into what is currently Ukraine. Everything was overtaken, but there was a core religion that is the bad guy religion, the Canaanite bloodline story. And this can be proven genetically with real Israelites, and we don't have the time to go down that rabbit hole this evening. But it is very important that as we recognize that there are institutions that we have been involved with, whether it's the Catholic Church or a local NGO that you worked with or whatever it may be, we all have to step away from that. This Lush intention steal, this is the reason that in the Third Pike War, which we are in the Third Pike War, and that is a narrative war. That's exactly right, Jan. This is just another narrative deployment in the narrative war. And we are in this war. When they say the ending isn't for everyone, that means that some of us are subject to a false flag event. We're just too close to the heat. And that could be because your house is washed away in a flood, weather warfare. It's all about the fear narrative. So, as we continue down this line, there's a lot of people questioning on, who should I tune into for news? If you want to keep hearing our take on the current fear narrative, I'm hoping that we are continuing to represent that. But that does not mean that we endorse whatever that message is. The bubonic plague in California, I've heard about the bubonic plague. I've heard about the warm water parasite in Florida, keeping you out of the water and the sun. I've heard about a number of different false flag events. But I think it's important that we remember that it's our choice to engage with this information. So, I don't know. I'm going to stop railing about this sheep.
Yeah, that's my point, Gandalf, and what I was bringing.
But it's important that you watch your intention, people.
Right. My point was to realize that all that shit's fake, and whoever bites. It triggers something in somebody. Some people are just like that. I mean, you mentioned a cold or something on TV, and some people actually get sick because of the TV told them they were sick.
Yep, that's right.
That's the power of the mind, and these people that control this TV has control over your mind, so much so that it can tell you when you're sick and when you're not, and then even have you rush into the ER. And that happens. That's how they ever so subtly just kind of lure people in, right? That's why it's important to take back control over your soul, over your whole being, everything. You have to wake up spiritually and understand what we're up against here. And it's not pretty once you wake up and you see it, but at least you can try and help others, or just know that you made it, I guess, and that you're free. You are now free once you take back control over your whole being, your body, everything, sovereign. So I'll share this British thing in the chat. Somebody was asking about it. Didn't need to play it again. Was it on YouTube? Yeah, can you post it on YouTube? That video?
That you just played?
Yeah.
Yes. Onto Telegram?
YouTube and Rumble, or YouTube. Somebody's asking for it on YouTube. Where did Gandalf go? He jump out? He's the jump out boy?
Yeah, he had to jump out, take care of some animal issues that were arising.
Yeah, we're doing a couple of shows here with Gandalf, Bird Love and her husband. But we're going to get, I'm going to get my wife back involved on the show with me. We're going to do a few shows like that. We're going to have other people coming on who we got a few people already asking to come on to help teach. So different voices, different faces, different styles of teaching. Everybody learns something different from different people. So that's why it's important for us to network and connect. And that's what we're showing here with Gandalph, Burlove, and her husband is connecting. We all just went through a loss. Whether you met him or not, we all took a loss here recently, and we're still recovering, and we're still in that recovering phase ourselves. It's not something that you can just move past, but we really appreciate Gandalf, Burlove, and Mike stepping up and really giving us opening their home, so to speak, to allow us to come on here and make it a little bit easier for us as we transition and grow as a community. So we like to demonstrate that, but sometimes right now it's like the attacks are coming from all. We're losing all kinds of relatives. People are sick in our families and stuff like that. So it's important for us to stick together and as much as we can. We don't all have to disagree, and you don't have to like me or anyone for that matter, but we all have to stick together to help heal instead of kill. We are what their worst weapon, their worst nightmare is the people awake, not the people that are asleep. So keep in mind that while we are doing this work and coming together, you got to have more and more issues, and it gets harder and harder and harder. But the urge to quit comes right before the victory. So never back down, never give up. Stand tall, stand firm. Don't worry about what somebody else says about you. That's none of your business. So to answer the question is, you're going to see us like this on here. You're going to see me and my wife. You're going to see me and my wife and Burlove and Gandalf and other guests. You're going to see all kinds of combinations. So that's what's good about this team. It's not just Gandalf. It's not just Gandalf. It's he's got an excellent support team. That's what makes him shine. Keep that in mind. And he returns that whether you believe it or not in the background. But Gandalf's a wealth of information. He's been on the show with Mike several times. It's almost like going to your uncle's house or something.
Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester.
So, we're trying our best to get you where we left off before Mike's passing, but just give us time to transition. But right now, if you could please subscribe, like, share, check out the website, sheepdogpets.com. You can share that link as well on your Facebook, X account. Maybe you know somebody, you could text it to them. Also that you could subscribe on, I found out we have 2 subscribers on, we got 2 subscribers on Rumble. I didn't know you could subscribe on Rumble, but I think it's like $4 or something like that. And we want to thank whoever donated $75 earlier.
Yeah,
you read their name earlier? Okay.
Yes, I sent it over to Miss Sheepdog. It was very kind.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Any support, just keep in mind that to take care of each other, pray for each other, pray for yourself is real important. Pray is asking, and regardless of our division of things that divide us, like somebody said in the chat the other day, said, well, it's those that are looking outside against those that know it's inside. And I said, well, yeah, but we have to love them where they are was the solution, right? Is what they said. We have to love them where they are.
That's
and
right.
that's the only way forward.
So true.
Regardless of how, if you believe, your mind is so powerful that whatever you believe, that's so be it, right? That's what it is. And you got to keep that in mind when you're talking about religion and people's beliefs, is that they believe it, then it's true. And there's nothing you could tell them any different until they're shown otherwise. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to convince anybody, wake anybody. It's not your job. But minds do have to be open, and hearts as well, and compassion and understanding how what's really the bigger plan is for everyone to put aside the things that divide us and try to come together and get things done. Yeah, she's a writer. So if you need something written, especially teaching material organizing. All right. Yeah, just send me an email at sheepdog111122@protonmail.com. Also, email me in the audience if you are a small business and you have samples, you homemade. Email me sheepdog111122@protonmail.com so we can make sure that if your products are good, that you're getting some assistance, right? Maybe you help us, we help you. I know we had a sample in the mail here recently of some homemade deodorant.
Yeah, it was
I know
some
some
deodorant, some lip chapstick, and some soap. Yeah.
So we're gonna check this stuff out. Anybody else out there have anything? I know someone else. We have someone making was it crochet blankets?
Yeah, crochet.
Stuff like that. So
Yeah, try to create like a community where we
a community
share our
shop,
gifts,
yeah,
our
where everybody, because y'all there's a lot of talent in this audience right now, and now's the time to shine. So whatever we could do to help, let us know, and we'll get you on a list. Check the products out, put you on a list, and share your stuff. We got Telegram, we have all kinds of Facebook accounts, X accounts, etc., etc. So small business, let me know, because I believe that's the solution, and that's the only way forward is for the people to go back to the mom and pop, how things used to be. That's it. That's how you counter the corporate shit that's going off the rails.
spending money with each other.
Because it's going to take them a couple years to take that food and products off of those shelves. Still, to this day, even though they're telling them to pull some of that stuff off, it's still going to take them a couple years to get it done. So in the meantime, you can start thinking about what you put on your body, what you eat, what you wear. Sometimes even the clothing, the type of material. Clothing material matters.
It's a different materials, a whole different frequencies. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have some all cotton?
Organic cotton, maybe?
Yeah, what is that white outfit I have with the
linen.
Oh, linen.
Linen, yes, linen's one of the best.
Except for it wrinkles real bad.
Okay.
It does, but it's nice and cool.
Oh yeah, especially there, Texas, right?
Oh yeah,
it's hot. Yeah, no, linen's great. Lets you your body receive all those good frequencies. Polyester is probably one of the worst.
Oh yeah, my grandma used to have linen sheets on the bed.
Maybe Evelyn hears my wind chimes in the back. Yes, they're tuned to the key of D, I believe. They can get a bit obnoxious though at times. But wind chimes are awesome.
Yeah, we got one in our yard too.
We got a cardinal.
We got a cardinal wind
You got
chime,
a
but
cardinal?
Yeah, we found it when we were in North Carolina. I was like, oh my gosh, look, let's get this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a cardinal wind chime. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I
cardinals have
think
been a thing with this group.
Yeah.
Mike's
Yeah.
wife said that because we gave her a wind chime too, and she said, "This reminds me of my uncle's porch, the front porch.
Oh.
Every time I hear a wind chime, it takes me back
Oh
to
yeah.
all those sounds."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Sounds
It's like
do that. Yeah.
somebody's got to be able to make wind chimes. I know we got a wind chime maker out there somewhere, right?
Yeah, we need to find us one. That'd be great.
Got wind chimes. Somebody wants them. It'd be a good little hobby, something to do at home.
Very
Yep.
relaxing, Yvette. Very relaxing.
So here we're talking about the different materials.
Mhm.
Hospitals used to make beds with linen sheets.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yes. Yes.
they help you real. And you're supposed to be able to sleep a lot better, wake up feeling great. They're kind of expensive right now, but you know, maybe if we can figure out how to make them ourselves.
Yeah, well, Jill said you can make wind chimes with beer cans.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Actually,
You got to empty them first.
I wonder if there's a preferred brand.
All the colors, all the colors. You can also make them with old keys. I've done that before.
old keys. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Old keys, just like some fishing line and some beads, and yeah, they sound beautiful.
Yeah, I want to do that.
The birds respond to them. They're just kind of at a higher pitch.
Hillbilly wind chimes is what they call them, Jill said.
Ah. I like that.
If Dan was here, he'd be calling them the PBR chimes.
Yep.
Here's good news from Linda. Linda Quillel. All right, here we are. My oldest son finally woke up. He's sending me all the stuff I was trying to send him in 2020.
That's what I was.
Don't you just want to smack him?
I was just talking to someone today,
Yeah.
and I was telling her I told my children all this stuff like a couple years ago, and then they call me now and they'll say, "Did you hear about whatever?" And yeah, I told you that. Like they didn't hear. I guess they didn't even hear me, or just went. It's weird, but yeah, it is exciting when they're like.
It's like a boomerang effect. It's now coming back.
Yeah, but they woke up in their own way. I guess what resonated to them to wake them up.
That's right.
It's nice to see that though.
It's nice to get confirmation, especially with your family.
Oh yeah.
Little glimmers of hope.
Exactly.
See a lot of people watching from YouTube. I don't see. Is there Rumble?
Yeah, we got booted on Facebook for the food video, so it must have had a lot of truth in it.
The Rumble's chat's up, but it's not showing on there. I don't know why.
Yeah, we're having a heck of a time getting Rumble chat to show up in our studio.
I hope they're okay over there, not raising hell.
They better be good.
Oh, you're watching them?
We have people watching too.
I think I got a couple.
You're all being very good though. You're all being.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we'd get a lot of text messages if we were having issues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was checking. I'm asking that because if you could also subscribe. I know you're on. Most of y'all I'm showing right now are on YouTube. Can you make sure you subscribe to Rumble? And I think our TikTok is sheep.dawg1111 on TikTok. And Facebook. We're going to go live on Facebook. You got to give it a few days or something like that, right, Bird Love?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks or so. So you got to build your audience there, and then we need to keep resubmitting, so they don't let the new people go live right away. And Gandalph was alerting me today that that's to prevent bot attacks, or a person signing up as not a person and going live right away. So we'll keep checking back with them and,
cool.
Try to hook it up each time, and sooner or later we'll have some success. So on your Rumble, it's The Roar Room, all one word. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I can actually, let me see if I can copy this link, and I'll get it in our
So we got True Social up as
chat
well.
here. Oh, good.
They want you to repeat your email again.
Email is SHEEPDAWG 111122 at protonmail.com. So sheepdog 111122 at protonmail.com. And that's it. So TikTok sheep.dog DAWG 1111. I just learned that today. I was putting the whole without the dot to sheepdog 1111. There's other accounts with that name, but that's not me. But the sheep.dog 1111 is
DAWG.
Also, we're connected on Facebook. Same thing. Sheepdog 1111 Facebook. Got all the links there as well. We're going to create a page there for everyone to get together. Also, just like we do on Telegram, Facebook community or a page, announcements, stuff like that. Also, if anyone wants to barter, beg, barter, and buy, or whatever it is, type.
Right.
If anybody wants to barter, let me
Buy
know.
from each other or barter with each other. I think that's a great idea.
I think Gandalph's looking for some grass from Michigan.
Always.
He wants the Michigan grass. It's better for his stomach and digestive system.
That's it.
And there you go.
It's better if it comes with mushrooms with it too.
Right.
He's growing some of those.
I told him to hook up with pet ladies.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually growing some of the ones that they use, and he's having good results growing them. So.
Yeah, we grew some too. What did we do? We did the shiitake and lion's mane.
Yeah.
Red meat. Yeah.
Yeah, I grow my own mushrooms, but I grow them in a bulk to where when I harvest them, I got enough to make whatever I need for the year. So you really don't when you're making your own medicine with tinctures and stuff like that. That's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Is to learn how to cultivate mushrooms, and you can do that. There's YouTube videos that you can watch. Some really, really badass setups for indoor growing, and you could really. I've got a tabletop mushroom kits where you could just sit in on a kitchen table and leave it there, and it just over weeks it just starts coming out the bag.
Or you can buy your own mycelium.
Wow.
And there's different, more affordable ways of doing it by actually getting the mycelium in cultures and stuff like that, and you get the wood pellets
or wheat berries.
or wheat
You can
berries.
use all different ones.
And you use that as the host or the substrate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
You'll have to do a tutorial or something and
we
share
gotta do
that with
something
us.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's even better is when you're done with the blocks and growing the mushrooms, you take it and put it in your garden.
Yeah.
In a certain area, north of the north side of your house in the shade, where the sun comes out there, because you don't want full sun in that area. You want it to be in a garden over there, and it'll start producing out of your ground. You can bury it, or just break it up and scatter it across wherever in a certain area, and you'll start getting. So it's like something that keeps giving, and it recycles, and it adds to your garden, and it even makes it more exciting to walk out there and see like red reishi growing out of your garden.
Oh yeah.
Or
wow.
And somebody was saying that there's mushrooms growing by her oak. Probably not safe to eat, but you can get. There's an app for
they grow on the oak.
Mushroom identifier. You can identify them that way, or you can get a book that has the different kinds of mushrooms. You can identify them by their gills and the color, and but yeah, if you know how to identify them, that's even better, because then it's free. It's all free.
Yeah.
Like
there's lots of little book guides you can carry with you. It's like a pocket guide.
Yes.
I have one from a long time ago that my aunt gave me. It's like bound in leather, and it's got actual descriptions of everything, the pictures, how to forage in the forest, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful reference to have in your pocket when you're hiking.
Like we went to Pennsylvania, and we went down a trail, and they had I never heard of chaga, but my friend was like, "That we got to get that chaga up there, because that stuff's expensive when you buy it."
Yeah.
And it was a huge. It looked gross, but it was on the tree. It's just like a brown. It looks like it's burnt.
It looked like a bird ate Taco Bell.
Oh no!
You scrape it off, and that stuff is really good for you.
Wow.
Yeah, the Appalachian Trails in Pennsylvania. We went there.
Yeah. You can add it to your coffee. That's the best way to take or capsulize it.
I believe everything is provided in nature.
Oh yes.
Everything a body needs. Yeah. We just need to look for it and be aware of it. Put it to good use.
Yep. Also, since we're all scattered, there's certain plants that grow in your area that don't grow in other people's areas. So be aware of that, and you can harvest that, and you can trade that way as well.
Right. Like I got a couple books for plants, herbs, and that grow wild in Texas, and in my area. So you might want to look in your area, or your state, what herbs and stuff for foraging you can get.
So that's the solution to big pharma is, I got wormwood growing.
Yeah.
And then I get the turpentine from the pine trees right here, because I cut the pine trees like the natives do.
Yeah, and it makes good salt.
And it comes down into a cup.
Good salts.
And then you could take that and you could burn it in your incense in your house.
Oh yeah.
You can ingest it. You can also, it's gum. It was like this, it's like the original gum. It's why they call it North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yeah.
Because they were stepping in the tar from the trees.
And it helps your immune system.
That same resin that's on your pineal gland. The pine cone, the pine tree.
Right.
That's why they gathered. Yeah. That's why all the natives gathered under the pine tree, because it pulled the energy down from the ether. The ether is on the periodic table. It took it off.
It sure used to be.
So
trees are amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, as we're right at the 2-hour mark. I want to thank Gandalph for coming on with us.
Okay. Can we close this out with a song that reminds me of the two of you.
Absolutely.
Oh shit.
Y'all better get ready.
You playing us?
Okay. Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Oh, keep an eye out for us at TikTok. I might be doing a live test on the TikTok platform this weekend to test it out. That's all I have.
Well, that's the song that reminds Bird of you too.
It is about pretty much like that. It is. It's crazy.
Look.
Someone said you got me over here doing the stinky leg.
Somebody's doing the stinky leg.